What is up, fellow agency owners? Welcome back to another video. This is a bit of a different one because in this one, I just want to have a sit down conversation, talk about me dropping out of high school, give you my thoughts, my opinions on dropping out of high school. Just so you are aware, I am for dropping out of high school. So this is a pro dropping out video. If you are looking for reasons not to drop out, there won't be many of them in this video. So you can just close the video now. But let's just jump straight into it. If you don't know me, my name is Alex. I am 18 years old from Norway. I run an SMMA that does about 20K a month right now. I dropped out of high school just over a year ago. So I was 17 at that time. Right now I'm 18, turning 19 soon. It has been a super fun journey. And since when I dropped out, my business was doing only $1,000 a month. And now we are around that 20K a month mark. So some crazy growth since me dropping out, which has been super fun. But let's start from the beginning. So first of all, I have two reasons for dropping out. The first one is the actual school system, how it's built, why it's built, what its main purpose is. And the second is wasting time not working on my business. So let's start with the school system. This is actually the main reason that I dropped out because, as I said, I was only making $1,000 a month when I dropped out, so the business wasn't really a big factor in it. Of course, I knew that I didn't want to go to school and I knew that school wasn't for me, but the biggest reason that I dropped out of high school was because I knew how messed up the system is. So if you don't know, the system, the school system was first created in Prussia, where they created the school system to make people soldiers. So like you went there, you got trained, you became a soldier, you went to the battlefront and fought for your country. And then it got transferred over to the US by the Rockefeller to create employees for his factory. So Rockefeller had a giant empire. There was just not enough people in the US to man all of those factories, so he had to figure out a new system. So he brought in the school system and began making those slaves, you can call them. So with that understanding, you begin thinking about everything that happens in school, having to raise your hand, to go to the toilet, waiting for the bell to ring to be dismissed, coming back when the bell rings, stuff like that. It just doesn't feel like a healthy system. It's not a way to actually learn anything. It's a way to get indoctrinated. It's a way to become a slave and become compliant, just do what you're told. And that's the entire point of the system, which they have kind of succeeded with. And I am not going to be part of that. I am extremely for learning. I read a ton of books. I do a lot of research. I do a lot of studying, but I read and study what interests me and what I will need in the future, not algebra, not anything that I don't need. Like in school, I've heard somewhere that like 95% of what you learn, you will not use. And what is the point? You spend like 10 minutes a day learning something that you actually will get use for in the future. So why not just spend those 8 hours actually learning something that will be useful? Okay, you won't have that piece of paper, but from an early age, I decided that I don't want a job. I don't want to work for some old man telling me what to do. I will be my own boss for the rest of my life. Yes, I'm young, but I've already decided that for myself. And for that reason alone, I don't need school. So I read a lot of books. So don't take this as like stop learning, just begin working. No, you have to learn, keep learning. Like as long as you live, you have to keep learning, but learn on your own terms, your own books, your own topics, whatever interests you, whatever will help you in the future. Put some effort into that, not just going to school and listening to what the teacher is telling you, which is, I guess, my mantra and my reason for dropping out of school. The second thing is wasting time. So you spend 6, 7, 8 hours a day in school, which you could have spent either learning something on your own, something that actually interests you, or spending it on working on your business. So every single minute you spend in school, you could have been doing outreach, you could have been closing clients, you could have been doing client work. There is a lot of things that you need a lot of time for when it comes to SMMA. And as I said, my agency went from 1,000 to 20,000 in that year since I dropped out, which is, I believe, solely due to me spending so much time on the agency. I work 10, 12 hours a day, which I am just physically not able to if I go to school. So that is also a big part of me dropping out. So how did I come to the conclusion of dropping out? First of all, it's a combination of those things that I just talked about, the school system and the wasting time in school. And the third thing is that my parents moved to Paraguay, so I was super lucky in that regard. No doubt about it. They decided to move away from Norway to Paraguay, and I had the choice to either stay in Norway, rent an apartment, and keep going to school, or move with them. So the choice was pretty simple. I already had a plan back in Norway that once my agency hits 5K, I'm dropping out. I don't care, say what you will, but I am dropping out. But I got lucky. They decided to move to Paraguay, and I said, yes, why not? I moved with them. So right now, I am still in Paraguay. Funny thing, I'm actually moving to Buenos Aires in 10 days. So that is also a super cool part about the SMMA journey. I've been living in Paraguay for the last year. Now I'm moving to Buenos Aires for 2 months. Then we'll see. Maybe I'll go to Thailand, maybe to Bali. We'll see. It doesn't matter. That's not the point of the video. The point is, my parents moved to Paraguay. I moved with them. And of course, when I moved to Paraguay, I had to drop out of high school. I tried going to school here actually because my parents insisted, first of all. And second of all, I just wanted to learn the language. But again, with all the knowledge I have about the school system, I just couldn't. I went there for like 3 days, dropped out, and never went back to school. So the main reason, funny enough, that I dropped out of high school is not actually the business. It is the school system, and it is just my parents moving to Paraguay. But of course, the business has been a giant part of my life for the last couple of years. I started my agency about a year before I dropped out of high school. And from the first dollar that I earned doing my agency, I knew that this is what I was going to do for the rest of my life. Not necessarily the agency, but just like being an entrepreneur, being my own boss. I just can't see myself working in an office. And yeah, a lot of people will say, oh, you're still young, you'll change your mind. No, when you know, you know. There's not a lot of things I am 100% certain about in life. This is one of them, that I will never go back to school, and that I will never work for a boss who will be telling me what to do. So maybe I'm extreme in my opinions, but this is the path that I have decided for myself in life. It has been amazing for the last year. I love it. Being able to travel, being able to work from wherever I want, being able to earn money at such a young age. We are just getting started. Maybe many people think like 10K is like the holy grail, you know, they earn 10K, they've made it. I may sound spoiled, but I still think that 20K a month is a pretty small amount of money. Like, you're not able to fly private, you're not able to like buy whatever you want without looking at the price. So I still have a long way to go, but it's still a pretty good start, to put it that way. I'm turning 19 soon, so I'm doing basically 20K a month at 19, which is pretty cool. And I would say that the biggest reason that this has happened is, of course, dropping out of school and just working super hard, which you are unfortunately not able to do with school. The only negative aspect, I'd say, of dropping out of high school is the social aspect. So not meeting your friends every single day, not being able to mingle, to have that, you know, to have that like social aspect, because entrepreneurship is a pretty lonely journey. You just sit behind your computer for 10, 12, 14 hours a day, not really talking to anyone, just working. And it's amazing. As I said, it's opened a lot of new doors for me, but it still gets pretty lonely. So sometimes I miss being around people every single day, but it is a sacrifice I personally am willing to make. So it is just up to you to decide if that is something that you want to do. I know that a lot of people also have pretty strict parents, so that could also be an issue. My parents were pretty on board because they understand this whole system, how the school system was created. They were the ones who began explaining it to me first. So I didn't have a lot of problems with my parents, but you may. So you have to be pretty tactful, pretty careful with how you present this change to them, because of course they have probably gone to school themselves. They are in this whole system, to put it that way. So they are probably pro school, and you have to have some pretty damn good points to be able to convince them. Or if you're not able to convince them, you just have to take the leap, move out, whatever. Just like, you have to make decisions for yourself, because a lot of SMMA owners are like 16, 17, 18 years and older. And at that age, it is time for you to make decisions on your own. You can't rely on your parents to make all of the decisions for you. If you know something, certainly for 100%, you are 100% sure that this is something that you want to do or you don't want to do, like I had with school, just do it, man. It's the worst thing that can happen is that you fuck up, you go back to school in like 3 years, and nothing has changed. You're still going to school, you'll get the same diploma, and then you'll get a job afterwards. So there's no real downside to it, except that you will Try something new. You will challenge yourself, you will challenge your beliefs, which, as I said, has been an extremely giving journey so far. I am super grateful for what I have. But enough about that. You have heard about my opinions enough now. If you have any questions about dropping out, about the process, it is super simple. You just go to your principal, say, I want to drop out. You sign some paperwork and you are out of there. If you are under 18, maybe you will have to get your parents to sign. I am not sure how it is in other countries. But in Norway, I just went on my own. I was 17, said I want to drop out, signed the paperwork, and I was out of there. So if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. If not, that was it.